What's going on YouTube? My name is Jay. Welcome back to another video. I hope you're having a fantastic day. And as we come into the back end of 2024, there has been a question across the gaming community through social media of a simple fact of asking, is gaming dead? Now, I have very much opinionated views on this because 2024 for me has been a year of discovery. Now, I know that sounds philosophical and deep, but let me explain. Do I think gaming is dead? No, I don't. And the reason I think that is because people need to just broaden their horizons. Now, for me, I am your stereotypical love a shooter, love racing games, love sports games. That is me. I have my love of RTSs, mainly old school RTSs, in the Red Alert and Command & Conquer franchises. Other than that, I don't tend to sway and dwell and move on to many other types of genres and everything because I'm very much stuck in my ways. You know, I'm very much set on just in those genres and don't tend to move around. It's a trait which is like I'm used to those games, so I don't want to then move out of it. It's the same way if like you wouldn't necessarily watch a new TV show, you'd watch the same one that you have done over and over again because you know how it ends, you know what you're going to get. So with games that I don't really get, I'm more than likely going to avoid them. However, this year I have been much more open to the fact that there are other games out there, and one of the reasons I love showcase events like the Xbox Showcase is because it gives me more options of games that I might potentially like. Now, in the same way that I select anime to like, I take recommendations from social media, from other people, but mostly I look at, you know, is the cover art, does that appeal to me? Is it eye-catching? Does it tell a story to an extent? And that's how I've discovered multiple new anime this year, and it's how I've discovered a lot of video games as well. Now, right now and everything, as I'm recording this, the new COD comes out in about 2 or 3 weeks. Now, as soon as that comes out, I'm going to be playing the ever-loving hell out of that. There will be videos on the campaign, there'll be videos on the multiplayer, there'll be multiple zombies challenge videos, all right, first playthroughs, everything like that. Like, I am going to be in a position where I can make so much content when it comes to Call of Duty, despite what's going on in my personal life, right? I can be making so much content right now. I am also back playing pro clubs on FC25 with my friends. Now, backstory on that is FC24 I didn't purchase. I said after the beta and after the original 10 hours that I had on EA Play that I was not buying that game, and I didn't. I stuck to my word. Every single month my friends would ask me, are you buying it? And I would say no, and I didn't. And it wasn't until June or July when it went on Game Pass that I eventually got it, and I realized that yes, it was a lot of money to spend, but I missed out on so much time gaming with my friends and everything and having just the funnest time, because I'll be honest, the last few months of clubs in FC24 were some of the funniest nights I have spent playing video games with my friends, mainly because COD was so dead, there was nothing for us to play as a group. So now with clubs this year, I have bought the game and I am enjoying it ever so much more, whether it's playing the game, whether it's just talking with the guys, reminiscing, I don't care what it is, but it's helped reinvigorate that love of gaming for me. And other than that, I've not really there's nothing really too much for the rest of this year that I've been interested in. There's a lot more for next year, the likes of Atomfall and other games from the Xbox Showcase that I am very much interested in. However, there are games at this moment in time of genres of many sort of more a bit more like a fantasy type thing, a bit more of a role-playing type game that's piqued my interest, and I've decided to start playing them. And that's where, like I said, the showcase, that's where these games come from. So the gameplay you're watching is from a game called Creatures of Ava. Now, I'll be honest, I thought this was another game. There was another game at the showcase. I cannot remember what it was, but it had a character flying around and everything in like this mythological world, and I thought it was this. So going into it, I was thinking, I'd already liked the look of this from the showcase, so I'm going to enjoy this game as well. When I started playing it, I realised it wasn't the game that I was expecting, but oh my god, this game is beautiful, right? This game, it's colourful, it's peaceful, It's serene. Everything about this game is a comfort game. I could quite literally sit there. If I didn't want to record parts of it and use it as backing gameplay, I could easily play this game for hours upon end, and that becomes a problem for me because then I get sucked into it, right? And it's a very quick and easy game to pick up as well. Like if I haven't played the game in a few days or even a couple of weeks, it's so easy to get back into it because it's a very simple game. It's quite literally just save animals, send them away, and follow a particular story. Now you can follow the storyline as it is. You can then also follow the side story as well. But overall, it's such a unique game because it's not a fighting game. The only way the animals will fight you, and you just have to then just cleanse them. It's very, very simple to play, but everything to do with it, whether it's the graphics, which look beautiful, but the music and everything, it's so calming and peaceful. You could have a really rubbish or crap day. You can play this, even if you're just quite literally a casual player, you will fall in love with this game. And it's one of the reasons that I have liked giving these types of games more of a say, because I have really thoroughly enjoyed this game. Like I said, I thought it was something else. It turned out it wasn't. I currently have around 3 or 4 hours in this game, right? And apparently it only takes 10 hours to beat the main story. To do a completionist and everything, it's 18 hours. So that will be my game set going into. I will 100% be completing the main story, and then I will try and complete the whole game as a whole. But other than Creatures of Ava, there have been other games that have piqued my interest. Age of Mythology Retold was a game that I'd looked at, and then I realised it is obviously just like Civilizations. It's what is, I guess, new school Age of Empires, which is something I grew up as a kid playing in school and fell in love with it. Another game, Atlas Fallen: Reign of Sand. If you haven't played it, play it. Again, it's a fighting style game. There's a fantasy element to it as well. Again, I picked it up because it just looked cool. Simple as that. It just looked cool, and that's something that I do with a lot of anime, and now I'm going to start putting into video games as well. If something just looks cool, I will do that. The Crash Bandicoot Insane Trilogy came to Game Pass on Xbox, and it made me relive my entire childhood. I've been doing speed runs on this game in my spare time. I've already platinumed a couple of levels already. Nowhere in my mind, as soon as I saw, I want to complete this whole game, like all 3 games like I did when I was a child. But I now want to go through platinum speedruns. The very first one I did was the Boulder one. I think it's like 4 or 5 levels into the original Crash Bandicoot game. I got my first score on it. I think it was like a silver, and I thought, okay, well, I can do better than that. I then spent the next hour doing speed runs of it, and I didn't realise that was a thing, and now I know it's a thing. And again, that's more sort of not casual. That's me going, right, I need to lock in right now. But going back and playing a game that I loved growing up, 100%, I'm so glad that this is now a thing. Another game, not similar to Creatures of Ava, but another game that really piqued my interest from the Xbox showcase was Flintlock: The Siege of Dawn. Now, this game, I never expected to play a game like this. Yes, it's got a shooting aspect to it. There's, again, like a fantasy aspect. Kind of a bit of, I don't want to say Souls-like, because I think that whole Souls-like, Souls-with, whatever you want to call it, it is, it's overplayed and everything. But this game, it's just fun. Do you know what I mean? It's just a fun game to play. The fighting technique and style is so different. It's a melee game, but you've then got a flintlock pistol, and the way to get more ammo for that flintlock pistol is to connect with melee attacks. You then have a spirit that goes around with you. It's a weird game, I'm not going to lie, but it's one that piqued my interest, and it's one that I will go back to play and play again and again and again. Just to throw another one in was, I've done a little video on this. That's Kunitsugami Path of the Goddess. Again, this is at a left field for me in terms of a game that I didn't think I would ever play. It's a top-down style game, and it's beautiful. There's nothing more I can say. Like I said, I think either my last video or the video before had this game in the background. It's just such a beautiful game. Again, very simple to play. It has its difficulty elements in it. The fact that the bosses are quite difficult, but they are very simple to beat at the same time. It's also setting up it has a weird real-time strategy aspect to it when you're setting up particular units to help you fight in these battles. But again, I would never have looked at this game and gone, oh yeah, I'm 100% going to play that. Like, I just looked at the art style and went, okay, yeah, it's cool, and even from the beginning of the year, if we go back to when it was a big thing in Power World, people remember just how nuts that game was when it came out. And I recently went back and played it like a couple of days ago, and I just remembered why I had so much fun on this game. And I will 1,000,000% be going back and playing Power World again to try and get to a completionist sort of status on it. I mean, I'm looking at it now, how long to beat. It takes 83 hours to be a completionist, 36 hours to play the main story. I've only just rebuilt my second base because I remembered you could do that. But that game captured the hearts and minds of so many people when it first came out that I'm happy to go back and play that as a whole. And with Steam releasing their, family, sharing plan, we haven't done it as a family, but my best friend hooked me up with his gaming collection, and my catalogue on Steam was not big at all. Was not big, but holy hell, when he set me up with his, oh my god, did I realise I have a hardcore gamer as a mate. There is so much on this Steam account. There's like games I was thinking of playing for years. Demon Slayer, Kimetsu no Yaiba, the Hinokami Chronicles is something I really wanted to play. I've never been a Dragon Ball player, but there is a part of me that does want to play Sparking Zero, even though I know for a fact I'm going to be hella terrible at it. Dying Light 2, I never got a chance to play, so I really want to play the hell out of that. I could even dive into Helldivers too. There was no play on words there. I don't know why I said that. Jump Force was a game I used to play for days on Xbox. I know it was a poor game to come out with, and I think it's slowly got on a little bit better. Just going through the amount of games that he has. I mean, I know the idea with the sharing one is if one person is playing it, the other person cannot, and that's fine. But even looking at that, there was a game that, again, kind of like Power World to an extent, it really did come out of the blue, and I think it's gone very much under the radar now. I think a lot of the boys, don't play it, but that was Skir Ritual, because you wanted a zombies game that had old school zombies feel to it, and to be fair, that did. So maybe I'll have to go back and play that as well. But for me, like, even finding, like, I've been playing so much of Bloons Tower Defense again, like a game that, considering what I normally play, I've been playing Bloons since Bloons TD2, I think. I play Master Duel from time to time, Yu-Gi-Oh, because I absolutely love the franchise and I love the game. I, for some reason, have been putting in hours upon hours playing old school Championship Manager 2007, which is a game that was released 17 years ago. And then one of my comfort things to do is, like I said, I'd rather play old games that I know the ending to. I've replayed all three of the rebooted Tomb Raider games, Tomb Raider, Rise of the Tomb Raider, and Shadow of the Tomb Raider, and going back to try and be a completionist in that, because I don't want to just play the whole game. I'm going back and doing strats I never did. I'm going back and doing methods I never did, because I love the games so much. So that's why when I say and I see people talk about, oh, gaming is dead because there's nothing to play, it's because you've got such a narrow-minded mindset that you don't want to go out and explore other games. Like, I'm not saying try and play 4 or 5 games at once, but something I do with anime, and I say this to people all the time, when it comes to selecting anime to watch, look at what other people online are saying, because there's a lot of people are going to have a very much a better opinion than you are with this. So listen to them, look at the art style, see if you're going to like it. And most importantly, with anime for me, whether an anime has, 12 episodes, whether it has 30 episodes, whether it has 165 or even 1,000 episodes, what's the first 2 to 3 episodes in its completion? If you feel like you're not drawn to it, then put it down. Okay, and then then move on to another title. You can do the same with gaming. With the rise of Game Pass, where as long as you have the subscription to it, you can play the majority of games for free and everything. I know you pay your subscription, but basically you own the intellectual property of that game, right? see a game that you like, give it an hour or so of gameplay, and if you feel you're not getting into it, and if you feel you can't get past a certain bit and you're getting tired of it, then just uninstall it and move away and try and find another game. It's okay to look outside of your comfort zone for games. There are only going to be so many battle royales, first-person shooters, third-person shooters, driving games, football games, American football games. There are only going to be a finite amount of those games. But when it comes to fantasy, when it comes to RPGs, when it comes to MMOs, there are so many other titles out there that you can explore. And look at what other people are doing. With the help of Twitch and other streaming platforms, you can find games that people are playing. If you don't want to just look at artwork and you don't want to just take people's word for it, see what people are like when they play the game and see if it then tickles your fancy, because most of the time you're going to go, do you know what, you might even think, I enjoy playing watching people play the game, or you think to yourself, I'm going to enjoy playing the game on my own. And once you find that difference, then you'll be fine. Okay, so this concept of gaming is dead is a very shallow argument, because it's made, and it's mainly grown, I've seen a lot from streamers, because they're not excited by the games they're playing, and that's completely understandable, right? There have been so many letdown games. We can sort of say, like, Modern Warfare 3 was a letdown, right? Majority of it I played in just the zombies, and that was just mainly so I could play with friends and stuff like that. But was it an experience I thoroughly enjoyed? No, I didn't. I then look at, you look at the fall off of Ubisoft. You look at Star Wars Outlaws, which has just completely flopped. You look at with Sony dropping Concord and then dropping it like a couple of days later because it completely flopped. There have been so many disappointing games, and that's where people then go, well, that's, gaming is dead because of just those big titles and everything are falling. Starfield for Xbox was one of the biggest flops of the year, and again, I understand people are just frustrated because their favourite style of game isn't producing. And I think with Black Ops 6, COD aren't in a make or break with that game. They're really not. Like, they know for a fact people are going to play it. They're going to play through the campaign. They're going to absolutely love it. They're going to play the multiplayer. You're going to have frustrations in it, but it looks fun. Like I said, I played the whole of the demo for BO6, and I enjoyed the ever-loving hell out of it. I didn't enjoy every other game playing the map with a swimming pool and my entire PC crashing, and that I didn't enjoy. But when I could play Black Ops 6, I enjoyed the hell out of it. And when it comes to zombies, I'm going to enjoy it so much more. And with the rise in pre-orders for Dragon Ball Sparking Zero, that the Ultimate and premium editions and everything are out pre-ordering Black Ops 6, that's not a bad thing. That is nowhere near a bad thing. That's a great thing, because the difference between those two games is with Call of Duty, we get a new Call of Duty every single year. This is the first Black Ops title since Cold War, so it's highly, that game is very divisive. For me, it's one of the best Call of Duty titles we've had in the last 7 or 8 years. But with Sparking Zero, the difference being is we haven't had the gaming community hasn't had a Dragon Ball fighting game that good since... I don't even want to try and pronounce it because I know I'm going to butcher it. Is it Tenkaichi 3? And that was 17 years ago. It might even been longer than that. So the reason there's more hype on that game than there is BO6 is there's a very big difference between having hype that has been about 6 months in the making than 17 years. While there has been Dragon Ball games, I believe, throughout that time, nothing has even come close to being what Sparking Zero can become. And I've seen gameplay of it. Like I said, I don't do Dragon Ball. I have enjoyed just watching clips of it through TikTok, but I've never been one to sit there and watch the entire anime. But I know for a fact, if I was to play that game, I'd probably like the single player aspect and the campaign side of it, the story mode. I knew for a fact I would never touch multiplayer because I would be owned a million times out of a million. But I can understand why the hype is so big on that. And you think of other games that have come out this year that just took the world by storm. Obviously, Black Myth Wukong was a game that I was very, very interested in. Obviously, then realizing it is on PC and it's on PlayStation, but then seeing the graphical requirements for it, and my little 9-year-old PC, he can't do that. He's very much on his last legs, and I really do need to upgrade him. While my PC can do the majority of games at either a basic or a medium level graphic quality, and some games it can run high quality, the best it can do, it struggles with the modern stuff, I won't lie to you. So that's obviously a future prospect that I need to get. But Black Myth Wukong took the world by storm, and then a stupid argument of, Black Myth Wukong is dead because it lost like 80% of its player base, when it's a single player game, and the game, they just finished the storyline. Like, this is the problem with modern day social media nerds that don't understand that, a game's playtime, like a peak player list, it's allowed to drop when a game, if it was a multiplayer game that the developers were constantly putting updates into, and then it fell off, then you can talk about its fall off. But you can't talk about the fall off of a single player game, because all single player games get completed. Most people will play a single player game, go to completion, and then go, all right, I'm done, and then leave it. Simple as that. Like, most people won't want to sit there and go, right, I've completed it once, now time to do it again and again and again and again and again. Like, some people do randomizers and stuff like that. They'll do Nuzlocke and everything, like in terms of Pokemon, But when it comes to most single player games, once you complete it once, you've completed the game. So you don't really need to play it again. So you'll put it down. And that's perfectly understandable. There's nothing wrong with that. And that's gaming that you've been doing since, like, you were a child. The amount of games that I played as a kid, single player games, once you complete it, you're like, yep, done, cool, then you move on to the next one. That's not a new thing, but the problem is with this new age of gaming and stuff like that, everything has to be numbers based. So if a game peaks at 1.9 million players and then a month later has 700,000 people playing it, that's not a fall off. That means those 1.12 million people have completed the game and they're happy to put it down. So yeah, that's where things just need to get away from it, right? But I do want to know what other people think. Like I said, I know the majority of people are on my side. The gaming isn't dead. You just need to broaden your horizons and look elsewhere. I understand why people are frustrated and will say the gaming is dead. But like I said, just take yourself out of your comfort zone and find other games that you might enjoy, you might not enjoy, but give yourself a different perspective on life. Like I said, there are people that will only exclusively play fantasy RPG games and everything. If there was a first-person shooter, they'd probably throw up. But at least they've then gone out and done something about it, So look, let's have that discussion across social media and in the comments as well. Tell me what you think. Do you think gaming is dead? Do you think we're moving into a good direction going into 2025 with all the new games coming out? Like I said, there'll be a lot more content in the next couple of weeks coming up. So I've got a lot of stuff personally going on at the moment, so we will get through that. But like and subscribe if you want this sort of content. Let me know other games you want me to play, and I will see you in the next one. Peace.